Hi, my name is Julian, and this is our performance task in science. So now we are going to talk about the volcanoes. So first, what is a volcano? What is a volcano? A volcano is a rupture in the crust of the planetary mass object, such as Earth, that allows hot lava, volcanic ash, and gases to escape from a magma chamber below the surface. Briefly, mountains are created by the movement of the Earth's plates, resulting in the folding and faulting of rock. This is due to collision and subduction of plates. Volcanoes are the result of magma from the Earth mantle being ejected to the surface of the Earth's crust. Bahillio, what is the types of the volcanoes include?
Basically, we have shield volcanoes, composite cone volcanoes, cinder cone volcanoes, and all the result of pyroclastic eruption and flow. Buan, why are some mountains volcanic but others are not? Can volcanoes become mountains?
Yes, if volcano becomes extinct for 10,000 years, it can be considered a mountain.
Can mountains become volcanoes?
When mountains aren't volcanic, it is because the plates collide head on and push upwards. When when they are volcanic, it is because one plate subducts the other, letting magma flow through the cracks, forming a volcanic.
So how are mountains formed?
When plates crash together, they push upwards to a point, forming a mountain.
Individual volcanoes vary in the volcanic materials they produce and affect the size, shape, and structure of the volcano. There are three types of volcano. We have cinder cones volcano, also called as sputter cones. We have composite volcanoes, also called stratovolcanoes. And of course, we have shield volcanoes. Canete, can you tell us what is the cinder cone volcano?
Cone volcanoes are more technically known as scoria cones. Scoria are irregular shaped, highly vesicular fragments of lava that are erupted into the air and are typically solid when they land. Cinder is a more colloquial term that is widely used in the United States for pieces of scoria that are, that are truly not to first sight.
Shield volcanoes are the largest known volcano type in the solar system. Olympus Mons on Mars is the largest mountain in the solar system, rising 24 kilometers above the surrounding plain, having a base which is more than 500 kilometers in diameter and rimmed by a cliff 6 kilometers high. The biggest shield volcano on Earth is Mauna Loa, situated on the Big Island of the Hawaiian Islands. Mauna Loa stands 4,169 meters above sea level and total of 8 kilometers above the ocean floor, plus an additional kilometer due to the loading of the oceanic lithosphere by the huge load. So, that is the three types of volcanoes. Now, we're going to know what is different between active and inactive volcanoes.
There's a difference between the active volcanoes and inactive volcanoes. So how are we going to know the difference between an inactive and inactive volcanoes? Active volcanoes are erupting lava and volcanic ash. Inactive volcanoes have evidence of past eruption in recent times and show evidence that they might still erupt in the future. Extinct volcanoes are heavily eroded and show no evidence of eruption in a considerate amount of time. This is the example of active volcanoes in the Philippines. And this is the example of inactive volcanoes in the Philippines. And this is the example of extinct volcanoes in the Philippines. So now we are going to describe the five types of eruption. The, the types of eruption known as phreatic, phreatomagmatic, strombolian, volcanian, and plinian. So now Amit and Canlas, can you describe the given types of eruption?
Let's start with this one, and it's called phreatic eruption that are driven by steam explosions due to the superheating of groundwater by a magmatic source. Phreatic eruptions may include volcanic ash made of shattered rock material but incorporate no magmatic material.
A phreatomagmatic eruption is an explosive water-magma interaction. Large amounts of steam and magmatic gases are emitted during deposits from phreatomagmatic explosion involving high water magma ratios. Are extremely fine-grained, distinctly poorly sorted in contrast deposits resulting from low water magma ratios are commonly coarse and relatively well sorted.
Strombolian eruptions are moderately explosive eruptions of basaltic magma with moderate gas content.
A volcanian, an explosive type of volcanic eruption that occurs when the pressure of entrapped gases in relatively viscous magma become sufficient to blow up overlaying crust and solidified lava, and characteristic feature of volcanic eruptions.
Plinian eruptions are extremely explosive eruptions, producing ash columns that extend many tens of miles into the stratosphere and that spread out into an umbrella shape. These large eruptions produce widespread deposits of fallout ash.
So now we are going to describe the formation and composition of the magma. What is a magma? Basically, the magma is a molten and semi-molten rock mixture found under the surface of the earth. This mixture is usually made up of four parts: a hot liquid base called the melt, minerals crystallized by melt, solid rocks incorporated, and melt from the surrounding confines and dissolved gases. So what are the three processes of magma composition?
There are three principal ways rock behavior crosses to the right of the green solidus line to create molten magma. First, decompression melting caused by lowering the pressure. Second, flux melting caused by adding volatiles. And third, heat-induced melting caused by increasing the temperature. Where is magma formed and how?
Basically, the magma is produced by melting of the mantle or the crust in various tectonic settings, which on Earth include subduction zones, continental rift zones, mid-ocean ridges, and hotspots. Explain the effect of temperature and composition on its velocity. How velocity affects the movement of the magma.
The viscosity of a substance is a measure of its consistency. Viscosity is defined as the ability of a substance to resist flow. In a sense, viscosity is the inverse of fluidity, called molasses, for example, has a higher viscosity than water because it is less fluid. So basically, a magma's viscosity is largely controlled by its temperature.
Composition plays an even greater role in determining a magma viscosity. A magma's resistance to flow is a function of its internal friction derived from the generation of chemical bonds. Within the liquid, chemical bonds are created between negativity charge and positivity charge, ions of the 10 most abundant elements found in magmas. Oxygen is the only anion.
How do volcano affects the climate?
When volcanoes erupt, they emit a mixture of gases and particles into the air. Some of them, such as ash and sulfur dioxide, have a cooling effect because they reflect sunlight away from the earth. Others, such as CO2, cause warming by adding to the greenhouse effect.
Since volcanic eruptions are caused by a magma, a mixture of liquid rock, crystals, and dissolved gas, expelled into the Earth's surface, we must first discuss the characteristics of magma and how magma form in the Earth.
The types of magma are determined by chemical composition of the magma. Three general types are recognized.
The three general types are recognized as basaltic magma, andesitic magma, and rhyolitic magma.
Temperature of magmas is difficult to measure, but laboratory measurement and limited field observation indicate that the eruption temperature of various magmas is as follows.
Viscosity is the resistance to flow. Viscosity depends on primarily on the composition of the magma and temperature. Higher content magmas have higher viscosity than lower content magmas. Lower temperature magmas have higher viscosity than higher temperature magmas. These basaltic magmas tend to be fairly fluid, but their viscosity is still 10,000 to 100,000 times more viscous than water. Rhyolitic magmas tend to have even higher viscosity, ranging between 1 million and 100 million times more viscous than water. Viscosity is an important property in determining the eruptive behavior of magmas.
Eruptions consist mostly gas emissions, other relatively quiet discharge of fluid lava, and yet others are cataclysmic explosions.
Different kinds of eruption leave characteristic deposits that in turn build in different types of volcano. A magma composition, viscosity, and gas content, the eruption rate, and the size of magma's reservoir determine many aspects of eruption, including how explosive they are.
Magma contains gas at high pressures. The gases are dissolved within magma. However, if the pressure decreases, the gas comes out of solution, forming bubbles. This process is analogous to what happens when a pop bottle is opened. Pop is bottled under pressure, forcing carbon dioxide gas to dissolve into the fluid. As a result, a bottle of pop that you find on the supermarket shelf will have
The main component of volcanic gas emissions is water vapor, followed by carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide.
Volcanoes release gases when erupt and through openings called fumaroles. They can also release gas into soil and groundwater.